Let me tell you something wild. Jay-Z, the man everyone calls untouchable, just got hit with a lawsuit that might shake his entire empire. But this isn't your run-of-the-mill celebrity drama. No, this is darker, heavier, and it's hitting at the heart of his carefully constructed legacy. We're talking about a civil case, first filed against Sean Diddy Combs, now resurfacing with Jay-Z's name attached to it. At the center of it all is a woman, Jane Doe, who claims that at just 13 years old, she was assaulted after being taken to an after party at the MTV Video Music Awards in the early 2000s. Yeah, I know, it sounds almost unbelievable, right? But here's the thing, this isn't coming from a tabloid or some anonymous rumor. It's a federal lawsuit filed by Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee. And if you know anything about Buzbee, you know he's not the type to waste time on baseless accusations. He's represented hundreds of high-profile cases, taking on the biggest names in business and entertainment. Therefore, the fact that he's willing to go after Jay-Z says a lot. But let's back up for a second, because this isn't just about legal documents or court filings. Let's talk about the man himself, Jay-Z. For decades, he's been a symbol of success, rising from the projects of Brooklyn to build an empire spanning music, fashion, sports, and more. He's married to Beyonce, for crying out loud. The man is a billionaire, but here's the thing, even billionaires have secrets. And let's not forget his connection to Diddy. These two weren't just industry colleagues, they were close, partying together, sharing circles, and probably more than a few secrets. So when Diddy's world started crumbling recently under the weight of lawsuit after lawsuit, some alleging horrifying behavior, you had to wonder how much of this darkness did Jay-Z share. For years there were whispers, Foxy Brown, Rihanna, even Aaliyah, but whispers are easy to ignore when you're as powerful as Jay-Z. People brushed it off, chalking it up to jealousy or sensationalism, but now the whispers are turning into shouts. So why now? Why is Jay-Z's name being dragged into this mess? Well, think about it, that easy. Diddy's lawsuits opened the floodgates, giving other victims the courage to come forward. And when one victim speaks out, it's like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. The lawsuit filed against Jay-Z doesn't just allege a single incident, it paints a picture of an environment, parties, power plays, and unchecked privilege, where the lines between right and wrong were blurred, if they existed at all. Jane Doe alleges she was driven to an after party where she was assaulted. She doesn't name just Diddy or Jay-Z, but points to a culture that protected men like them. Let's be honest, this isn't just about Jay-Z or Diddy, it's about power, the kind that lets people operate above the law for decades, and that's what makes this case so explosive. But here's where things get interesting. Jay-Z has been quiet lately, suspiciously quiet, no big interviews, no grand public appearances. For someone who loves the spotlight, it's odd, don't you think? It's almost like he knew something was coming. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Jay-Z is huge. We're talking about a man who's transcended music to become a global icon. He's one half of the most famous power couple in the world. For years, people saw him as untouchable. But let's not forget, so is Diddy. Think back to a few months ago when Diddy's downfall started. One lawsuit turned into two, then three, then dozens. It was a domino effect, each allegation pulling more victims into the spotlight. Therefore, it's not far-fetched to think the same could happen to Jay-Z. After all, if they were running in the same circles, attending the same parties, engaging in the same behavior, how isolated could these incidents really be? Here's another layer to consider. A pattern emerges, and that pattern points to an industry where men like Jay-Z and Diddy operated with impunity, protected by their wealth and influence. But let's not lose sight of what's at stake here. This isn't just about tearing down a celebrity, it's about justice for victims, people who've been silenced for too long. Jane Doe's lawsuit is more than just a legal document, it's a challenge to the system that allowed this to happen in the first place. And let me tell you, the fallout from this could be seismic. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper or a businessman, he's a symbol. For many, he represents the pinnacle of success, the hustler who became a mogul, the street poet turned cultural icon. But here's the thing about symbols, they're fragile. A single crack and the whole thing can shatter. Imagine the ripple effects if this goes south. Brands will distance themselves. Business partners will suddenly go quiet. Even his staunchest defenders will start whispering, questioning, wondering if they backed the wrong horse. Because when someone like Jay-Z falters, dude, the whole ecosystem around him starts to shake. And let's not forget Beyonce. Her silence or her eventual statement will speak volumes. The public will dissect her every move, every word. Is she standing by him? Is she stepping away? Their union isn't just a marriage, it's a brand. And this case, it could redefine everything people thought they knew about the Carters. You know what's wild? This isn't just about Jay-Z. It's about the culture, the community, the people who've looked up to him for decades. If he falls, what does that say about the dreams he's inspired, the empire he's built? It's like watching a chess game where every move has consequences that ripple far beyond the board. But here's the kicker. We're living in a time when accountability is louder than ever. Social media doesn't forget, it doesn't forgive, and it sure as hell doesn't wait for a court verdict. Public opinion is its own judge, jury, and executioner, and right now, the court of public opinion is assembling. Hashtags at the ready. Think about how this plays out. If more people come forward, each news story will be like another nail in the coffin, another crack in the facade. And the media, they'll run with it. The headlines will be relentless, the debates endless. Is this the fall of an icon? They'll ask. What does it mean for the culture? They'll dissect his past, his rise to power, every move he's ever made. And the internet, it'll keep the receipts. But here's the real question. What happens if he fights back? If he countersues, goes on the offensive, and doubles down on his innocence? Will it make him look strong, or will it just pour gasoline on the fire? Because sometimes the harder you fight, the guiltier you look. This isn't just a lawsuit, it's a reckoning. A moment where the world holds its breath and waits to see which way the scales will tip. Will Jay-Z emerge unscathed, or will this be the moment his empire starts to crumble? And maybe that's the most haunting part of all. Empires don't fall in a day, they erode bit by bit until one day they're just gone. If this is the beginning of the end, it's going to be a long, messy, and unforgettable ride. So here we are, watching it all unfold. Will he defy the odds, or will this be the story that defines him? Either way, we're witnessing history. And let me tell you, this is a chapter nobody saw coming. So what's next? The stage is set, the players are in motion, and the clock is ticking. The higher he's climbed, the further there is to fall. And whether he lands on his feet or crashes to the ground, one thing is clear. This story is far from over, and maybe that's the most tragic part. We're not just watching the potential unraveling of a man, but of an icon, a cultural pillar, the kind of fall that echoes for generations. What do you think? Will Jay-Z manage to escape the storm, or is this the beginning of the end? Either way, one thing's for sure. This is a story that will leave its mark no matter how it ends. Thanks for diving deep into the shadows with Hidden Agenda. Remember, the truth is often buried where no one dares to look. If you're ready to uncover more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Stay curious, stay bold, and we'll see you next time, where the hidden becomes revealed. And remember, the truth will always come to the light.